Good day, everyone, and welcome to BA 632 Operations and Project Management. My name is Jojo Guevara, and I will be your instructor for this course. Professionally, I serve as the Chief Financial Officer for the Port Authority of Guam, where I oversee financial planning, capital projects, financial reporting, strategic initiatives, and organizational modernization. I am also a certified project management professional or a PMP, and I have had the privilege of teaching project management at both the undergraduate and the MBA levels. So whether you work in government, healthcare, banking, information technology, education, engineering, or the private sector, chances are that you have already participated in projects. By the end of this course, you will understand not only how to manage projects effectively, but also why projects are one of the primary ways organizations achieve their strategic change. Throughout the semester, we'll connect project management theory with practical, real-world applications that you can immediately apply in your own organization. Let's begin with a simple question. What is a project? So before defining a project, it is important to understand what a project is not. Every organization performs activities every day that keep the organization operating. These routine activities are called operations, or what we often refer to as business as usual. For example, the hospitals provide patient care every day. The utilities provide electricity and water, while the banks process transactions. While in my company, the Port Authority of Guam, the cargo is loaded and unloaded every day to support Guam and the rest of Micronesia. These activities are repetitive, ongoing, and essential to fulfill the organization's mission. Projects are different. Projects exist because organizations need to improve, innovate, or respond to change. When the port replaces a major equipment such as a ship-to-shore gantry crane or implements a new financial management system or rehabilitate a wharf, those are projects. Operations maintain today's business while projects build tomorrow's business. That distinction is one of the most important concepts that you will learn in this course. So what is a project? According to the PMBOK guide, PMBOK stands for Project Management Book of Knowledge. A project is a temporary endeavor that undertaken to create a unique product, a service, or a result. There are two important words in that definition. The first is temporary. Every project has a beginning and an end. Temporary doesn't necessarily mean short. Some projects last several months, while others continue for years. It simply means that once the objectives have been achieved, the project is completed. The second is the second word is unique. Every project creates something new or different. Even if two organizations build similar facilities, each project has a different stakeholders, locations, constraints, budgets, and risks. Projects therefore create unique outcomes that help move an organization forward. So if operations maintain the organization, what do projects accomplish? Projects create change. Every organization begins in its current state. Management identifies opportunities to improve, perhaps reducing costs, expanding services, modernizing technology, increasing efficiency, or increasing the customer satisfaction. Projects become the bridge that moves the organization from its current state to its desired future state. The result is business value. Some benefits are tangible, such as increased revenue, lower operating costs, or higher productivity. Other benefits are intangible, such as improved customer satisfaction, a stronger reputation, a greater employee morale, or increase in public confidence. So one message I would like you to remember throughout this course: organizations don't invest projects simply to produce deliverables. They invest in projects because they expect those projects to create value. So now let's connect everything that we have discussed so far. Every organization has a mission, a vision, and a set of strategic objectives. Once leadership um, identifies a business need or an opportunity, a project is initiated. That project produces a product, a service, or a result. Those deliverables generate benefits for stakeholders, and those benefits create business value. And that value helps the organization achieve its strategic objectives. In other words, projects are not isolated activities. They are one of the primary ways organizations execute their strategy. As future managers and leaders, your responsibility will not only be to deliver projects successfully, but to make sure that your organization is investing in the right projects, those that truly advance its mission and the long-term goals. Once we understand that projects support organizational strategy, the next question becomes, what causes the organization to initiate projects? There are many reasons. Sometimes new laws or regulations require organizations to take action. Sometimes customer or stakeholder request new products or services. Technology continues to evolve, requiring organizations to modernize their systems and processes. Organizations also launch projects to improve existing products, services, or internal business processes. Although these reasons may differ, they all have one thing in common. Each project should support the organization's strategy and contribute a meaningful value. So sometimes projects are standalone, but it rarely happens in isolation. So several related projects may be coordinated as a program to achieve benefits that couldn't be realized if each project were managed independently. So as you can see here, the definition of a program is a group of related projects, sub-projects, and program activities managed in a coordinated way to obtain benefits not available from managing them individually. So the key word in the definition of a program is related. So multiple projects and programs are then grouped together into a portfolio where executives prioritize investment based on organizational strategy and available resources. This leads us to organizational project management, or OPM. OPM is defined as a framework in which portfolio, program, and project management are integrated with organizational enablers in order to achieve strategic objectives. The purpose of OPM is to ensure that the organization undertakes the right projects and allocates critical resources appropriately. OPM integrates projects, programs, and portfolios to ensure that organizations allocate their limited resources to initiatives that produce the greatest strategic value. I'd like you to remember one statement throughout the semester. Doing the projects right is important, but doing the right projects is even more important. So now that we have discussed projects, let's define project management. Project management is the application of knowledge, skills, tools, and techniques to project activities in order to meet the project objectives. Many people think that project management is simply preparing schedules or monitoring the budgets. While those are critically, um, while those are certainly important, project management is much broader. It requires leadership, communication, decision making, problem solving, stakeholder, risk management, and teamwork. And those are some of the things that we will be discussing when we address these 40 project management processes in the PMBOK book. A successful a successful project manager helps transform ideas into a successful organizational outcomes. So in the book, we're also going to talk about the 5 project management focus areas, which are initiating, planning, monitoring and controlling, executing, and closing. So PMI stands for Project Management Institute. So why did they change the PMBOK book from PMBOK 6 to PMBOK 8? So project management has changed dramatically over the past 2 years. Historically, many projects involve construction, manufacturing, or infrastructure where detailed planning works very well. Today's organizations are implementing artificial intelligence, digital transformation, cloud computing, cybersecurity, automation, and business innovation. These projects require greater flexibility and adaptability. As the business environment evolve, PMI evolve as well. So one of the biggest changes introduced in PMBOK 8 is a shift in a perspective. Traditional project management emphasized following structured process to manage scope, schedule, cost, and quality. Modern project management still values discipline, but it also emphasizes value delivery, stakeholder outcomes, tailoring, leadership, and adaptability. So instead of asking, did we follow every process exactly as planned? Today's project managers also ask, did we solve the business problem? Did we deliver value? Did we achieve the intended benefits? Another important change is that project managers encourage to tailor their approach to fit the specific needs of each project, rather than applying the same methodology in every situation. Throughout this course, you will learn both the foundational processes and the modern principles that guide successful projects today. So not every project should be managed in exactly the same way. Construction projects often use a predictive approach because requirements are well defined before the work begins. Software development frequently uses agile, allowing teams to respond quickly as requirements evolve. Many organizations combine both approaches in what we call hybrid project management. One of the key skills of an effective project manager is knowing which approach best fits the project. So today we have established the foundation for everything that we will study for this semester. We have learned the difference between operations and projects, explored how projects create business value, examined how projects support organizational strategy, and introduced the evolution of project management from traditional approaches to modern value-driven practices. Next week, we will build on this foundation by exploring strategic alignment, project selection, the business case, and the project charter. You will see how organizations decide which projects deserve their limited time, money, and resources, and why selecting the right project is often the most important decision a project manager can make. Thank you for joining me for this first session. I'm excited to work with you over the coming weeks, and I encourage you to approach this course not just as a future project managers, but as future leaders who will use projects to create lasting value for your organizations and the communities they serve.